All right, guys, here's another harsh truth that nobody wants to hear, but unfortunately, it's true for the vast majority of folks out there. And that is, you unfortunately are going to work until you die. So let's talk about the 4 truths that you must face today in order to avoid that situation. I don't want you guys in that spot at all. I want you guys out there having financial freedom, freedom from all this mess right there, and to be able to enjoy the rest of your life. I don't want you guys to have to work until you die. So let's get into those 4 truths. Number 1, you are behind and won't admit it. I've noticed over and over and over again when I'm talking to folks, either in a private session, in a group session, doesn't matter what it is, that when you discuss retirement, most folks don't want to admit that they are not on track for it. They are way off. And even if they do admit it, it's kind of like, yeah, but and it just kind of, they have like this loose, it's just going to happen at some point in time later on. It's almost a feeling that I get whenever I'm discussing these folks. But it is so hard to get people to admit that they're actually behind because it's hard, right? You don't want to sit down and do the hard math and go, wow, I am a long way away from retirement. And it's always I'll deal with that later. Oh, I'll invest more later. Oh, I'll just get into real estate later. Whatever the case is, but they are not dealing with the hard truth, and that is that they are behind. And every day you delay that, you're getting further and further behind, further cementing the fact that you may very well work until you die instead of being able to retire and move on to that next phase in life, regardless of what it is. So the hardest part right there, and the first truth that you've got to understand, is you are probably behind and you have to admit it, so that way you can take steps to change that and get yourself back on track. That's one of the reasons why we have the Blacklist Financial Freedom Program, is so that way you can see alternatives to traditional retirement. Because unfortunately, when you get online, you decide, hey, I'm finally going to admit it. I'm behind. How far am I behind? I don't know. Well, if you listen to Susie Orman, you need like $5 million to just retire reasonably. That's not reasonable at all. You can retire in as little as $300,000 in as quickly as a year using our system. You just got to reframe what retirement is, what financial freedom is. And unfortunately, you're probably not going to find that most places, but it all starts with admitting that you were behind in the first place. Number 2, there are no guarantees. One of the big reasons why everybody's behind, or one of the biggest reasons given for why people are behind, I guess I should say, is that everybody's looking for that guaranteed can't miss investment, right? Lots of folks want to invest in real estate, but it's risky and I don't really want to invest in it unless it's guaranteed. And that's just not how investing works. So what you end up doing is you end up choosing the riskiest investment decision of all, which is to not invest at all. Stop looking for guarantees and start looking for great investments. Start learning about investing. More importantly, just simply do what is best, which gets you closer to those goals, which is not going to be perfect. And it's definitely not going to be guaranteed. It's going to be a roller coaster in between, because that is just how life works. That's how investing works. That is how everything works. You want to start that new business? Guess what? There's no guarantee it's going to go anywhere. But you know what I can guarantee you? You stay at your current job, your salary's capped. Even if you get promoted, that's got a cap to it. Start your own business, really, it's unlimited. You could do anything from make $100,000 a year to make $1 million a year to making, $1 billion a year. And you can't say that's impossible, because I can literally look around the world at lots of folks who are in those various scenarios that I just laid out. However, what I can tell you is the guy flipping burgers down at McDonald's is never going to make $1 million a year. And there's no instance of that person doing it unless they quit that job and start a business. That's the only way. Staying in that job and just expecting your salary to go up to some point in the future that will make it easier for you to retire or easier for you to have financial freedom is simply not how it works in the end. Stop looking for guarantees and start executing. Number 3, there is no safe investment. There is no such thing as a safe investment. You've got to stop looking for safe. Yes, there are riskier investments. There are definitely investments that carry different risk levels. Obviously have different risk factors and everything else of that nature. Every investment has that, to include treasury bills, for example. So it's not like everything is risk-free. So to me, there really is no safe investment. There are just prudent investments and there are dumb investments. So for me, when I view investing, I don't view it as safe or unsafe or anything else of that nature. I view it as prudent investments and stupid investments, right? Things that I understand on a high level and I have a good grip on. Sure, some of them are still not going to go my way, but generally speaking, you're going to win when you understand what you're investing in. You have a high level of confidence in that. You've done the work, you've done the due diligence, you avoided hype, you instead bought prudently. Go look up that word if you're not sure what that means, but you were prudent with your investments it turns out great over the long run. And if you're in the opposite situation and you're just simply throwing caution to the wind and throwing money at the latest meme coin, or I'm not going to learn about investing because I don't have time, and all those other excuses that we give, at that stage, the same exact investment in both scenarios, one is extremely safe, the other one is extremely risky. That's why I don't view investments kind of on that safety scale. It's much more about, are you doing your prudent due diligence to understand what you're investing in, or are you not doing that? Are you just going for the latest get rich quick scheme that everybody's getting rich on, or whatever the case is? Again, prudent investments, dumb investments. That's the way I choose to look at them, because you can definitely invest prudently in some high risk areas and actually be quote unquote safe as well. Lots of folks say the stock market's risky. I haven't really had that experience overall because I've invested prudently. Obviously, you can look at a guy like Warren Buffett. I think he likes how it turned out over his 70 plus years of investing in the riskiest asset that you can invest in, the stock market. I can guarantee you that was far safer than investing in treasury bills or just leaving your money under the mattress or in cash or whatever the case was. And number 4, you have less time than you think. We all think next year, I'll get on that soon. I'll do that in a few years whenever things get easier, things get lighter, whenever I get through this period of time, whatever the case is. The reality is the best time was yesterday and the next best time is today, and so on and so forth. You don't have the amount of time that you think you have in order to accomplish these sorts of things. Obviously, as I get older, it's like each decade goes faster and faster and faster and faster, right? It doesn't slow down as you age, it gets faster. Therefore, you actually have less time. If you're not paying attention to this, you're like, oh, I'll wait till I get the kids out of the house and then I'll focus on that. Well, guess what? That's going to go super fast. Then you're going to be right there. And then guess what? Something else is going to come up. Something else is going to be a distraction. And before you know it, you're at that age to where, hey, I really would like to retire, and you haven't even started yet. So always keep in mind, you have less time than you think that you have. I'm not saying anybody's going to die early or anything else of that nature. I'm not going down that route at all. I'm simply telling you that if you think you're going to, oh, I'll start investing once my kids get into college, well, you're probably going to be investing after they go to college for an additional 20 or 30 years. That's the math behind it, meaning you don't have nearly as much time as you think you have in order to get that accomplished. I don't know where people get that idea from, but a lot of folks are just like, hey, I'll deal with that whenever the kids leave the house, whenever this happens, whenever that happens, whatever the case is. And then all of a sudden, something that should take you 30 years and you should have started when you're 20, and now that you're 50, you're looking at being in a great spot. Well, guess what? Now you're 50, and it's not like that 30-year time frame gets any less, right? You still got that same 30-year time frame, meaning you're looking at 80. And it's not like during that time, maybe when you were 20, you needed a lot less, right? Because we all lived on a lot less when we were 20 years old than we do now. Now your lifestyle's creeped up. A lot of other things. You got a lot of other expenses you could have never dreamed of when you were 20. You got them at 50, not to include all the rising healthcare costs, medicine costs, and everything else of that nature. So now, not only are you looking at a 30-year time horizon, you may be looking at a 40-year time horizon or further, which is exactly why we designed the Blacklist, which is the pinned comment down there, that financial freedom program, so that way you can reframe what retirement is, follow it step by step, complete with videos. You can chat with me about anything you're looking at in regards to that. That is exactly what it's intended for, to show you how, hey, yes, if you're going to try to do it traditional way, you've got another 30 or 40 years. If you're going to try to do it a different way and look at these alternative ways of retiring, we actually give you 3 different paths that you can take and lay out step by step how to do all of them. At that stage, you can have that financial freedom a lot quicker than you could before if you're going to follow that traditional path. Either way, you got less time than you think, and you need to start now. So check out the pinned comment down there if you want to be a part of the Blacklist Financial Freedom Program. More details are on the website there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.